Hey guys, hope you're all having an awesome night. So I'm just going to do a quick check-in. I'm going to ask Spirit, what do we need to know? I feel like there's so much chaos going on right now, collectively, but also in people's personal lives. I know a lot of people are kind of like in this weird cycle right now where it's like the past has kind of come back around. Some of you, this is like old energy, old lessons from like 2, 3, 4 years ago, and things that you thought were like done or dealt with, you're not. Some of you, that's actually things coming up in the physical. Some of you, it's definitely some major family stuff. Some of you, it's just like your emotions and feelings or things you thought you were over or had dealt with. There's definitely a lot of past people coming up. So it could be people coming back into your life to kind of like, for what I'm getting from Spirit is like for closure or to like end cycles and chapters and things like that. For some of you, it's also for you to take your power back and change things, change the dynamic, change the way things happen and stuff. So anybody who's in maybe a situation where they're feeling disempowered right now, like how can you empower yourself? And they're saying like courage, and they're showing me like the lion, like how can you, like Leo energy, like how can you stand up for yourself? How can you have courage? How can you empower yourself in these situations instead of losing your voice and losing everything? They're saying really important to not get like involved in the chaos and drama. Even if it personally involves you, try not to get involved with it. Try not to give it power and like get into the drama and the like ego and emotions with it. Like try to like calmly, reflect on it and see like, why is this triggering me? Like what's going on? What can I do about this? What do I need to surrender to Spirit? Like there's nothing I can do about. What can I do to empower myself, or how can I set boundaries and handle this? There's, like I said, there's a lot of empowerment energy right now, a lot of boundaries, a lot of respect things, and like areas where you had given up your power to people in the past. Spirit's kind of bringing them back, or like surrogate people back to help you with actually being able to kind of change, not change history, but kind of change the old energy and those emotions to help it heal where you were kind of giving your power up and stuff. So that's pretty been wow, all of a sudden I can't talk again. That has been pretty big. I've also noticed that there's a bunch of people who are going through spiritual awakenings at this time. When I say spiritual awakenings, this is what I mean. Is like you're starting to see the world isn't the way you've always been raised to think it is. You're starting to kind of see the spiritual side, not just the human side. You're also starting to see the soul side and the spiritual side of things. For some of you, there's definitely like some religious conditioning and stuff that's coming up to trigger you to heal and release some of that stuff. Some of you, it's like you're slowly coming into your gifts as well. And it's like, don't rush the process. Like you don't need to do anything. Just make sure you're doing whatever's in alignment with you. And like, you don't need to rush anything. You don't need to try to even understand it. Anything you're supposed to know will always come to you like at the right time. And that's not even just for spiritual gifts, because I'm getting for certain people, like there's such a weird shift right now. I'm like so dizzy. It feels like the room's like spinning. Not like totally, but it just feels like this weird energy. For some people, it's like you're trying to get answers right now and you're just not. Like you're trying to rack your brain or figure certain things out. Like, why is this happening again? Or why is this happening? Like, what did I do to deserve this? Or what's going on? Or like certain energies like that. Maybe not directly, but something similar to that. Take some deep breaths and go within yourself. Like, what do I need to ask myself? Again, what I said kind of earlier, why am I being triggered? You're going to get the answer in the right time. You're not going to get it too soon. You're not going to get it too late. You'll get it in divine timing. If you're trying to pull for the answer, you're not going to get it. Like you will literally not figure something out until you are supposed to figure it out. So if you're in that kind of stuck energy or that frantic, chaotic energy, how do I come back to center? How do I take care of myself mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of that? How do I take care of all facets of myself? What can I do for me right now? And go to that. And it's not ignoring the problem. It's that is out of my control. So how do I calm myself and like find my center? And that's going to help you. When the answer is supposed to come up, it's going to come up. I know this from the past for myself. I used to do the same thing a few years ago, and I'd feel this like uncomfortable energy. And I'm like, why am I feeling like this? Or what is going on? Or like whatever. And I would not get an answer. Like there are certain times I would just not, like lately I've been kind of in the void again. So I wouldn't get the answer. And then randomly, whenever I'm supposed to, it could be weeks later, days, months, whatever, Spirit just gives you the message. This is the thing I'm going to tell people. You don't even need to know how to channel. You don't need to know how to get messages. You don't even need to know if you're getting intuitive messages or anything like that. Whenever a spirit message comes through that you're supposed to know, it's a very aha type moment. It's a very like, oh my God, it's just complete faith and knowing of it. And like, I guess I'm just going to pull something from this right now. It just makes total sense, like just complete sense. So you don't even need to like worry about it. Is that it? Channel your inner child, go and do something fun you enjoyed doing as a child. That message has definitely been coming out a lot about doing more fun things and not just like surviving, like living and having a good time and like doing something like fun and exciting for yourself. Okay, we got release your stress. Wow, I literally cannot talk right now. Release your stress, relax your shoulders, shake your body and wiggle. Things are okay. Remind yourself everything happens for a reason. It's weird. I pulled this deck out, but I wasn't planning on reading from it, but then I got guided to, so that makes sense. Change the way you talk to yourself. Ooh, they're strong about this, guys. I'll finish the rest of it. Speak kindly to yourself and love yourself. Say 3 to 5 things you love about you. I'm seeing a very specific masculine that is sitting there and just like, why am I so fucking stupid? Like, why do I keep making mistakes? Why do I keep doing this? Like, I know I'm sabotaging. I know I shouldn't be in this relationship. It's not good when I like this other person or some shit like that. That could also be feminine, but I'm getting a very specific masculine energy with that. Stop saying nasty shit to yourself. Stop. Like, you made choices. If you can't change them, then change them now. Like, just move forward. Like, okay, why did I do this? Understand yourself a little bit better. Why did I do this? And then be patient with yourself and just change it. Like, nothing's an end all, be all. Like, if it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. So just, but anybody who's like negative self-talk or like saying nasty shit to themselves, like, try to be really patient with yourself and like loving to yourself instead of being that way. So like if you make like, I hate saying the word mistake because I just think like there really isn't mistakes, but if you make a choice that's not for your highest good, and you wish you made a different choice, then just kind of like reflection, like there's a lot about reflection coming out too. Just like look at why did I make that choice? And then like, okay, I understand why I made that choice. Like maybe it wasn't the best choice. What can I do in the future to not make the same choice again and things like that, rather than sitting there and holding shit, against you forever. There's just no point. I love that. I told you we got about your power and I told you they were showing me a lion and I love that this card came out. Is that it? Okay. So I asked Spirit before the reading, like, what is it that we need to know? Because it feels like a lot of chaos and ups and downs and just a lot of shit doesn't really make sense right now, and you're not supposed to know a lot of stuff. A lot of it's like releasing and things like that, and you're growing through this to help bring you forward to something else. You just don't understand it because you're not supposed to understand it. But I wanted to kind of do like a quick reading and see like what we need to know that can help us guide through this. So I love this. We got root chakra, we got wisdom, rejoice in celebration, triumph and success. I love these cards coming out together, especially because it's like you're definitely growing and learning from this, and like something you're coming out of a situation, like something is going to end. I'm getting from Spirit, it's going to end successfully. For some of you, it's the next few weeks. For some of you, it's the next few months. Just keep moving forward and like having faith. Some of you, it's definitely working on having faith and trust no matter what. And a big message I've been getting for people too, myself included, is trust your intuition. It does not matter what the fuck you are seeing. Like what internally are you feeling, and trust that. Even, when all that's going on, it's like, don't give up on that. Just because it hasn't shown up yet or isn't here yet doesn't mean it's not going to. It's going to. You don't have to sit and fixate on it or like keep thinking about it, but also like let it go and trust that like it's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen. And like it doesn't matter what you're seeing. If you know something and your heart is true, then trust what you know. The only thing I'm getting is certain people like stop picking up on other people's shit and their ideas. So like if one person tells you something and your situation seems similar, don't pick up on somebody else's intuition for their situation and assume it's the same as yours, because it's not. Like pick up on your own internal intuition and guidance and see what that is, rather than attaching your stuff to somebody else's because theirs seems similar in energies or emotions or something to you. We got material harvest, moving on, power. What I'm getting more than anything is open yourself up to receiving. Some of you, this is like receiving spiritual guidance and allowing yourself to trust in the messages you're getting. It feels like a lot of you guys are moving on from family dysfunction, toxic cycles, things like that. It feels like some of the stuff that's coming up, even if it doesn't totally make sense, is actually bringing you to a new beginning and is helping you find this power. And the power they're saying is not the ego and inner child power. It's like not the ego and inner child. It's like actual true internal power where you're not being not being affected, because we always are affected by shit. You're not making choices from trauma. You're not making choices from ego. You're not making choices based on like your needs getting met and things like you're doing it from internally from yourself. Like you're finding that internal power, that fire where it's like, I deserve better, I deserve more, I deserve, and coming from a place of like self-love and self-care where you're setting all the old shit behind you. So a lot of people are in the end of like, or like kind of in the middle of like dysfunctional family shit. Some of you, it's in toxic relationships that are in toxic relationships, or it's like an ex or something that you're dealing with some energy from. Some of you, it's also an old family member you might be dealing with shit from that you don't really talk to anymore, or like you've cut off ties with or something, or they've kind of come back in, but it's helping you see something different. It's helping you find your voice and your power again, which I'm not surprised that card came out because that's kind of what I was saying in the beginning. So this one, yeah. Just trust like you're always being guided. Like you're never not being guided. Even when it feels like they're not around, they're around. They're just maybe not telling you everything. And they're giving me the like the example of like the bike. It's like, you know, if you're sitting there and like a kid has like training wheels on and you just sit there like next to your kid the entire time, it's like they find safety within you. So a lot of times people depend on spirit to really guide them or to really help them make choices rather than seeing like, what do I want or what do I not want, and you empowering yourself to be confident in the choices you make and to take responsibility for your life and your own choices. So it's like you co-pilot with each other. So it's like not fully depending on spirit to do all this for you. So kind of it's like they took the training wheels off. They're like, here, we have faith in you and trust in you, where now it empowers like a child where the training wheels are off and, you know, the parents sitting there and they're like, you can do this. Like, you don't need us. We're here just in case you need us. But like, you're good. Like, you don't need us to do this for you and hold your hand anymore. Like, you're bigger and you're stronger and you know what you're doing. So that's kind of what Spirit's doing right now. Okay. We got a fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries. All these kind of flew out together. Oh, it's time to release negativity, full moon in Scorpio, and a new start is coming, new moon. I love this. I feel like this kind of goes with the message, is like replacing negative. It's like the moving on card. It's like all this drama and all this chaos and all this shit. Maybe not internally. For some of you, it feels internally and emotionally. Some of you, it feels external. Some of you, it's probably both. But it's like all this chaos, all this drama, all this negativity, all this bullshit, like letting it go, because that fresh start is coming. And anything that's like blocking you or standing in your way, even mental belief systems and the way your perspective, there we go, I can't even think of the word. Your perspective can actually block you from letting certain things in. Like if you're not feeling like confident in certain things, you'll push certain people away, certain things away and stuff like that. So it's areas where it's like Spirit's like slowly helping you release these blockages, like little by little by little, which is why it feels, hidden motivations, why it feels like so like tough and there's so much shit, because it's just like a bunch of, some of you just have more conditioning, and that card flew. Ooh, yeah, a lot of feminine cards. Like, yeah, you just have more like conditioning or things to release than other people, perhaps. So we got the courage card. All right, come on. Like I told you in the beginning, they said that, and the power and the courage and stuff like that. We got the courage card and the power card. On the bottom, we have great achievement and letting go. So we got dark thoughts too. Didn't we just get like the card? Yeah, like the letting go card, moving on, which is the same freaking thing. And then we also got the release negativity. Okay, there you go. Duplicate messages. I love when they do that. We got dark thoughts too. Definitely some of you, this feels very masculine. Doesn't mean you're a man. This could be, just an energy. Very in fear right now. The masculine. So if you're a woman, we all have masculine, feminine energy. You could be in your masculine and afraid of certain things. That dark thoughts feels very in their head. Very like crown chakra. Like third eye almost feels blocked for whoever this is for that I'm talking about. Your third eye almost feels blocked because you're so in your crown, and your crown is almost like closed though. It's like, because you're trying not to think about stuff, it's like all these negative things, let them go. Like let them actually escape, let them flow up, hear the thoughts and feelings and let them go, breathe them out. That's how they're going to escape. Shoving them back in and closing all this is not actually helping. It's actually making you probably fucking have headaches and feel just like pressure in your head and all this stuff. So like, if you're having, beside the energy shifts, because we've been getting a lot of them, this is different. Like when you're getting can't talk again. When you're getting energetic shifts, you can kind of feel the shifts, and like you'll have a headache and then it goes away. You'll have it goes away. Like certain things like that. When you're super in your head, it's like just very uncomfortable, and it's just like all these racing thoughts and all these feelings. You feel like I can't think, like I'm just cloudy, like my intuition's blocked, stuff like that. If you're going through that right now, journal or video journal, like hand journal, video journal, talk to a friend and talk about your feelings. Even the fear is coming up, let them out. Like Spirit's showing like the tea kettle, like open the thing up and let the steam out, because you're shoving it in and you're trying to ignore it, and it's not going to help. It's just going to literally make you physically uncomfortable until you deal with it. For some of you though, who are like in fear energy, just acknowledge the fear. It's just a fear. It's not true. And then drop into your intuition. Drop into your intuition. What does my intuition say? Is my intuition all of these things? Intuition's never fear. Intuition is never fear. Anytime you're feeling afraid, you're physically afraid, you're mentally afraid, you're emotionally afraid, it's not necessarily true. Almost always it's fear. If it comes in very clear and knowing and calm, and then you kind of freak out, then it might be intuition. But most of the time, if you actually go back to when the first thought came in, it's usually like this like rush of heaviness and just shit, pretty much. So anyway, we got letting go. Okay, that's what they're talking about. They're saying like for some of you, it's changing your perspective. For some of you, it's like this very pessimistic viewpoint. For some of you, a lot of this feels relationship-wise. It feels like you have these certain perceptions based on your parents, based on your old relationships. And it's like letting go of all these thoughts, like letting go of all these fears, like all these insecurities, all the things that people have said to you that you've held on to and like related to yourself, like letting go of all that shit. And like at the end of that, something rewarding is coming, something that you've been desiring, something that like it's already in like preparation. Like Spirit's already like doing shit behind the scenes and working on this and guiding you so this can actually come in for you. Just don't worry about the timing, because sometimes human timing is totally different than spirit timing. Spirit timing is perfect, is divine timing. It always works out the way it's supposed to. Human timing is like, I want now so I can have validation. It's going to happen so I can feel calm and comfortable. But maybe you're not supposed to feel calm and comfortable. Maybe you're supposed to process all these fears and this anxiety and this worry and all this stuff so you can learn how to accept, so you can learn how to feel comfortable in the discomfort, so you can learn to realize that all of your emotions are just that, they're emotions. They're not truth necessarily. They're not anything that we kind of make them up to be. So anyway, we got Angel of Four Directions, deserving. I love this. True love, the loving woman, joyous, fun, courage. I love this. And we got two masculines on the corner. The rest are feminine. Spirit is helping you guys grow and heal and level up. They're like literally showing me like we're raising our vibration right now. We might feel like we're getting pulled backwards. We might feel like we're kind of stuck in this chaos and all this bullshit. But what's happening is it's just coming out of you. It's just coming out finally. And I literally hear the word finally with exclamations, big letters. Finally, it's coming out of you finally. And y'all are coming to a place of self-worth, of knowing what you deserve, of deserving the best. I'm getting from Spirit too, a lot of you guys are learning how to not settle. Some of you, it's like a step. They're showing me stair steps. So it's a process. So it's working up to it, and it's going to bring you this. For some of you, this is truly looking in the mirror and loving yourself and accepting yourself the way you are. And that's not to say that you don't have flaws or things that you consider flaws that you're like, I want to change, but it's learning to love you. And it's very much like that childlike energy of how they just love people before conditioning and, bullshit. And it's like getting to that place of self-acceptance and love. For some of you, it's going to bring in love. And I'm getting like a rekindling for some of you. It's going to bring in love or rekindling when you guys get into a certain energetic vibration where you guys are at the same level. Like some of you guys are here and it's like, you need to be here. Like, don't lower yourself. I always tell people this, don't lower yourself. Let that person step up. If they're meant to be in your life, they're going to step up to be in your life. You don't need to push them. You don't need to, this is the thing. You can't pressure people to change. You can't try to change people. If you do, it's temporary. It's not from them wanting to do it for themselves. You can discuss with them. Hey, I have an issue with this. This is why it makes me uncomfortable. This is why I need this. This is why whatever, without telling them what to do, telling them what you need and what you'd like, and allow them to either do it or not. That's it. Allow them to do it or not. If they don't, have a conversation and explain the importance. And if they do, perfect. Thank you for acknowledging my feelings. Make sure you're grateful. Like, actually own up. Like, hey, this person showed up for me. This person did this for me, Same for yourself, too. Okay. Woof. This feels like some masculine feminines. I love it. The feminines, like Spirit is saying, y'all are working, whoever's primarily like your primary energy. So my primary energy is feminine. There are women whose primary energy is masculine. It just depends on who you are, okay? So it doesn't matter your gender. The feminine energies are learning how to be comfortable in any situation and be calm and to have internal power that's radiating out this beautiful, nurturing, loving, light energy. This just like what it feels like is she's coming into, this feels so good. I love it. So if you're not in this right now, you're working toward this, okay? The feminines. You're working on nurturing and loving yourself. You're working on knowing what you deserve. You're working on like self-love, all of these things, right? And really taking care of yourself and seeing the beauty within yourself. And what's happening is the more you stand in your power, the more you love yourself, the more you radiate your light, you're sending that out to other people. And you're actually like lighting the path for other feminines to feel comfortable being themselves and loving themselves and honoring who the fuck they are, instead of trying to change who they are. Like I saw something when I went to go post on TikTok the other day. I saw a video, it popped up in my thing, and this girl, I love it. She's like loud as fuck. She doesn't even give a fuck. And she's sitting there and she's like, what the fuck did she say? She's like, I don't work out 7 days a week to be with a 7 or some shit like that. And then she's like, fuck this, and just saying all this stuff. It was so funny. Like, I loved it, honestly. It was so funny. And I was reading the comments because I'm like, oh, I gotta read the comments on this. Because I'm like, I know some people are gonna be like, this is controversial and whatever. First off, if you want more than a fucking 7, then why the hell are you selling for less than a 7? She's like, yeah, I want a guy who looks good. Yep, working on it. Like, I know that's not necessarily the way we should be working on it, whatever. And somebody had comments on her thing and said something about, like, I love your energy. Like, this is a total vibe. And she goes, oh, thank you so much. And she did a reply video and said how people have told her, like, she's too loud, she's too much, she's too this, she's too this. And, like, how she's coming to own herself. And it was like, I love it. First off, I don't give a fuck what you say. As long as you're not hurting people or being malicious, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't care. Or if you're fake, I can't deal with that shit either. But, like, if you are who you are, I don't even care if you're a raging asshole bitch. If you're not doing things to, like, harm people with the intention to harm people and you're, like, just who you are and you're authentic, like, I appreciate people that way. I appreciate realness and stuff. And so, like, for me, I'm, like, watching this and I'm like, I love it. And I resonate with it so much, too, because obviously I'm a loud person, and like I'm a very blunt person, and I just kind of say how it is. And I've had people who've been like, you're too loud, you shouldn't say this, you shouldn't act like this, you shouldn't this. And I have a really good friend where she's had that same situation where she's like, I shouldn't say this because of this, I shouldn't do this because of this. And I'm like, why should you have to change who you are as long as your intention is good, as long as you're being respectful? Why should you have to change who you are because other people cannot accept it or handle it? You just don't need those people in your life. There's, somebody for everybody. And so, like, I love that because it's like the feminines are like coming into this, like, we're not changing for anybody. And I don't mean toxic shit. I don't mean, you know, we have certain traits. We all have shit we need to change. Okay. Like, I don't mean that way, but it's like also accepting that you're where you are and you're fucking imperfectly perfect. Like, you're a human being. Like, we're all that way. We all make, you know, fucking choices that aren't always the best. We reflect and we learn from them and grow, but it's like honoring who the fuck you are. And like, for me, I'm like, I don't like talking about, a lot of times I feel really guilty for talking about myself with other people. And I always feel like, oh my God, am I like a narcissist? Like, am I making this about me? Am I this and this and this? And I almost like go into like self-criticism mode. Like where I'm questioning and I'm like, do people even want to hear what I'm talking about and all this shit? Or like, even when I do like readings like this, sometimes where it's not spirit giving me messages, like how I'm talking right now, I'm like, am I too preachy? Do I seem like I know everything? Do I sound like I'm too much? And like, I've caught myself the last few weeks doing that. And it's because I had been told those things and I started believing them. And so there's been times where I'm like, you know what, I really don't want to post that video because I don't want people to think that I'm just like preaching to them or like I'm acting like I know everything or whatever. And then I was like, so I'd meet somebody or somebody would talk about something and I'm like, okay, I just talked about this in the reading. Clearly somebody needs to hear it. And so I'll post it anyway. But I've had that with myself too, where I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do that because then people are going to think I know everything. Or then I have to express like, you know, that I've went through this too because I don't want people to think like my life's perfect. Like, and I've also kind of noticed like the last few weeks, I've had a lot of this coming up where it's like things people have said to me where it's like, I don't want to express how proud I am of myself sometimes, or like actually be proud of myself for things I've worked through or what I've accomplished, or, you know, even though I should, because I work really hard for everything and I, you know, I go through fears and I still follow through with shit. And it makes me proud of myself for, you know, following and having faith in trusting and doing what I love, you know, and like, I've struggled with that because other people have gotten like jealous or insecure or whatever around me. And it's like, but why should I lower myself or not be proud of myself or not say nice things about myself because other people have said nasty shit to me or couldn't handle it or whatever. And so like, that's what the feminine's like coming into is like all those areas where she kind of like lowers herself or kind of hides herself or all of that. Like not doing that. And I know I got like hair in my mouth. I know for me, like definitely some of my personality, like over years, I don't mean more recently, like I've tried to like lower it or, you know, I'm spiritually connected. So a lot of times I'll get messages about shit. So I know a lot of shit. I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything, but like when spirit gives me shit, I trust what they give me. And I guess that perception has like rubbed people the wrong way. Like I think I know everything. And I'm like, no, but what I know, like spirit gives it to me. I know, I trust it and stuff. And so like, I know I've even tried to like lower that stuff where I'm just like acting like I don't know shit. And I'm like, why should I have to act like I don't know shit? Because people in my past are like, you think you know everything, you don't listen to people, blah, blah. And I'm like, I started questioning myself so much with it. And then I'm like, no, I do actually listen to people. I actually take people's advice. I actually ask for advice. I'm like, okay, I need to stop listening to what other people have fucking told me and start like being me and like accepting myself. So like I've definitely been doing that. If you can't tell, like my energy's been a little bit different in readings and stuff because I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm just being me. If you don't like it, peace. Like I'm not being anything else. Anyway, that's what the feminine's coming into. I fucking love that energy. I think it's so great. I think we all need to just own who the fuck we are and stop. One size doesn't fit all. Some people are quiet, some people are loud, some people are in the middle. Some of us are outgoing. I'm not fucking outgoing. Most people are outgoing. I know introverts and shy people like myself have struggled with this because we're living a very extroverted world where you should have all these fucking friends and you should, you know, go up and talk to people and all this shit. And it's like, why should I have to change who I am? Why should I have to be more social? Why should I have to do all that if I'm comfortable with being by myself and doing things and having my very few close friends that I want instead of a giant fucking gathering of people that drains the shit out of me, that I feel uncomfortable? Why should I have to be that way? So yeah. Anyway, all right, I'm done on my tangent, and this video is way longer than I planned on it being. Courage. The masculines feels very new energy or very close to new energy where they're coming into their power in a different way, where they're having the courage to leave old behind. It feels like the masculines have been holding on to some old ass energy. I mean, like fucking teenage year energy, like old ass shit. Some of it definitely is old relationship stuff, old friendships, like all this, like they're about to come out of it. If they're not out of it now, they're about to. It's going to help them with addictions that they have too, I'm getting from spirit. So any of them that have addictions to, whether it's sexual stuff, substance, you know, like drugs, alcohol, any of that type of shit, like even like addictive like behaviors and thought patterns, some of them very like negative, pessimistic, or very like afraid energy where they don't move forward with shit, like they're coming out of that, they're coming into their courage. For some of them, it feels like they're going to step up and have a conversation where like they've been hiding their feelings and their emotions, where you literally wouldn't even be able to tell, and they're going to start talking about them. They're going to start putting their shield and their guard down, and they're going to start sharing those with you guys, and like it just feels good. And in the middle of that, we got joyous fun. This message is not for everybody. By the way, Spirit's saying that message is not for everybody. Like if you're in an unhealthy relationship and you know it's unhealthy and you don't want to be there and you don't need to be there, then they're not talking about you. Okay. With the joyous fun card, it definitely feels like your inner child's / soul, which yes, are two different things, are like up to some suspicious things in like a really good way. They're like planting some stuff behind the scenes. Like they're showing me like seeds being planted and shit blossoming, but it almost feels like you see the seed planted in just like the little plant, and then one day, like weeks and weeks of rain, you wake up and then boom, it's like a full fucking like fully grown plant. It's like a sunflower that was like a little sprout, and then literally the next morning you wake up after weeks of rain, and then it's like this 6 foot tall, you know, maybe not, that's a little dramatic, 6 foot tall sunflower, like just like out of nowhere. But what I'm also getting is have more fun. Like we got that earlier too, the inner child card. Channel your inner child, go and do something fun you enjoyed doing as a child. Same thing. Go do some fun stuff. Inner child's definitely coming out a lot to help you guys see things, heal things and stuff. But it feels like your inner child and soul are like planning some fun shit for you guys. Some of you, it's definitely like vacations. Some of you, it looks like there's just like an event or something that you're going to be like going to in the next few months that it almost looks kind of romantic, if I'm being honest. It might not be for everybody. Some of you, it might be with friends. But for some of you, it looks romantic. Not in romantic in the sense of like candlelit dinner romance. It just seems like you and this person like laughing and joking and just having a good ass time. To me, that's romance. Like connecting. Like you and this person just having like this fun good ass time where it's like, oh my God, I just had the best day ever. And it feels like for this more so feels a little future-ish, but it's like Spirit's planning this, and like then something, what is this card sticking out, is gonna just come up. Great achievements popping out. Yeah. Something's just going to come up that just like lights your ass on fire and like just gets you all excited. So if you're feeling kind of somber, like shit lately, like you're going to come out of this. Like I'm in it too. There's a bunch of people that come into the shop, or people I do readings, that are kind of still in this stuck ass cycle where there's really no kind of understanding. Honestly, you're just not supposed to, but like something is like, I'm almost getting like a graduation from a cycle, like something good is being planned for you, and you're clearing so much in this process. So anyway, I hope that this message helped, and wishing you guys so much love and light.